All right, Caitlin, the moment that not only we, but I think everyone listening has been waiting for. Yes. You can hear her laugh right now. You have such an iconic voice. It's like set in this deeper register, which I love. It's like that sexy, raspy voice, like the people, want. I'm just sick, so I have it right now.
And I sound normal, so.
Well, you may recognize her, of course, from Nickelodeon, from Belle and the Bulldogs, Ring a Bell, anyone, and of course, Nick's Night Squad. Also, I don't know, I'd say you'd recognize her from Getting Slimed at Nickelodeon, but she has never, I repeat, been, I want to say, one of the onlys to go through 2 shows on Nickelodeon and get away without being slimed because maybe they knew in which your hair regimen. It's pretty, talk about that. But anyways, without further ado, it is LILIMAR with us today.
Hey. You guys, that was a wonderful introduction.
Oh my gosh, no, I could go on and on and on and on. But you're so unique.
Oh, you are.
You.
So many ways. Your fashion, your name. Does anyone else have your name?
I think there's a couple like random people on Facebook. Once every now and again, I do the search and everything. It's kind of upsetting when like you say that it's not just like, you kind of want to see younger people. You're just like, oh my God, they named him after me. That kind of feel, but they're all older than me. And I'm just like, no, you legally changed your name. Don't even lie.
Do you know the origin? Or
my mom, she wanted to make something very, very different. So originally she was going to name me Marimar, but then there was a soap opera that came out called Marimar, so she said no. And so she made Lily from Liliana, which is my grandma's name, and then Mar because I was born in Isla Margarita in Venezuela.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so she just put that together.
She knew. She's like, she's a star.
Yeah.
She's going to have a name like Beyonce, Adele, first name only, right?
Totally, yeah.
Oh, we love it. Well,
we want to start off, though, with a Hollywood make-it moment. So a moment in Hollywood where you feel like, yes, I made it, and then a break-it moment where you were kind of heartbroken and maybe you didn't get a role you wanted, something like that.
I mean, probably my biggest make-it that I remember like very fondly was probably when I got chosen for to be on Nickelodeon. And it was originally they just did like this big open call random casting in Miami where I was living at the time, and it was like I thought it was a scam. I didn't really think where they're looking for talent. I was like, oh, okay, sure. Like, how much do I got to pay for the summer camp? Like, you know what I mean? So I didn't really think. So when they called and said that I got chosen, I was in the middle of swimming class, and my mom is just over the fence, LILIMAR. I'm like, oh my God, they're calling, like, because you're going like this, and I'm just like, I'm like swimming, like just pretending to not hear because I wasn't for it.
Yeah.
And I just could not believe anything that the woman was telling me until she said, and you'll be going to Los Angeles, blah, blah. I was like, what? So I think everything after that, and just being able to be here and a lot earlier than I ever thought, and actually get the chance to even just audition for them and have them, know my face and meet new people and eventually get chosen for shows. That was probably my biggest make it moment. I felt like I was doing pretty well in my life. Like it definitely took a turn for the better. Totally. And
I mean, swimming's really, really fun as an ex-swimmer, but I mean, just saying. I think that's pretty cool.
Yes. And break it. I'm a pretty positive person. I really like to, I just think everything kind of happens for a reason. So a lot of times it's not so much so like, oh, it was horrible and I hated it and I can't believe this happened and blah, blah. I think there's just certain things that need to happen. Certain people you will have for a while and then not have for a while, whether that's management or relationships or whatever that is for you guys. For me specifically, maybe it was a lot of like roles that I didn't get. Of course, I would be like, there's certain roles where you try to be nonchalant and be like, okay, I like all different sorts of roles and I go in for the ones that I really like. Yeah. But there's some that you're just like, fingers crossed, which I'll be completely honest was like for Winx.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, that's like a project that's happening and I kind of really wanted to be any of the Winx girls.
Well, let's go back then a little bit because you were casted. You did well in that audition at least for Belle and the Bulldogs and Nick's Night Squad. So I want to ask, what's something about each of those shows that maybe you missed the most? Yeah, I'll start with that.
Okay. I mean, Belle and the Bulldogs first, the entire thing was such a great experience. Bella, I think overall, I miss the people. Like that whole group was really cool. So hopefully one day we'll get to do a reunion.
Yeah.
Are you in touch with anyone?
We are all still connected by the Instagrams and the Twitters. We all keep track of each other. Fun. And then Night Squad, I think I mainly miss, I I missed the stunt and the crew for sure. And I felt like I was getting a good workout for free because it's part of my job.
Right.
So
You're actually getting paid to work out.
I was getting paid to work out. So
concept,
it was great. So I definitely miss them a lot.
I think I told you last time you were in here was that you remind me. I feel like you're the Blair Waldorf of Generation Z.
You
like
told
I
me
feel
that
like that is
Oh my
not
God.
only fashion forward, but just kind of this like bad bee, but then like also has this soft, sentimental, real side to her that if you're lucky, you kind of get to know.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I like about you. Would you say we see a lot of that in your characters? I want to say, but how would you just? Is that a persona or is that at all like reflective of your actual life?
Yeah, I think for me, I personally like my own personality is definitely more on the very straightforward in your face kind of side, and just very, you know, I'm definitely not a naturally cutesy, giggly type of like my baby Savannah.
Yeah, exactly.
Savannah
Right.
because I love her.
Well, everyone needs a Serena to their Blair, Savannah to their LILIMAR. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's easier for me to play, I guess, confident characters or anything in that realm. But it's as hard as it is for those characters that I play to find their soft sides or, you know, show it. That is something very true to myself. So that's why sometimes it makes it easier. It's a hard thing still, but it makes it easier to portray it in a sense because I have that same thing.
Well, on your Instagram, we see kind of your soft side too. What prompted you to want to be so raw and real on your Instagram?
I remember specifically Fresh Face Friday was when I first started in Belle and the Bulldogs and I first started getting people to even be on my Instagram and like talk to me or comment and stuff. And that was all very new to me at the time and it was really nice. It was the people that were coming over were very nice. It was a lot of support. There was a lot of people, you know, if they liked the show, they would come and say that, or if they liked my character, or me as a person, or my style, whatever it was. And it was really, really cool to see. And just there were a lot of times where the comments were no longer just, you know, you're so cute, you're so this. It's more of like, I wish I could be as cute as that, or I wish I had a life like that, or like, I do not have the confidence to post something like that, or like post as much as you do. Stuff like that, where to me it wasn't necessarily, you know, it's flattering that, you know, they're saying something about you very nicely, but it was kind of like, I feel so, why do you feel that way? Because in Miami, or I guess maybe in our culture, specifically Cubans, I think we have more of we're a little bit too overconfident instead of all these, like, we have our own insecurities, but we show it in a different way. So I wasn't used to seeing, in LA, seeing so many girls specifically, but guys too, that were so uncomfortable and so unhappy with not only themselves, but their bodies or who they are, the way they speak, their eyelashes or this or that. So it was all this bunch of stuff that I was like, this is so sad. And there were so many people because I loved talking to them that had these saddest stories and they felt so genuinely upset at an age where it was like 13, 14. And even then I was 14, but I recognized I was too young to be feeling like that. So I was like, well, if I could do like something, you know what I mean? It came to me, I was like, well, it's easy for me to post selfies. And at the time I loved taking selfies because, you know, it became a thing, like a trend. And I was like all about it. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can like challenge people to do it with me. And maybe that might help in some sense. And I heard that apparently it did to quite a few people. So I'm happy that it did. And, it's been a journey for me too, because I remember like it was so easy for me. I sometimes go back like, you know, 2,000 posts down to my early selfies, and I'm just like, you see the so little editing, or it's just like a sparkle around me or something, whatever that I used to do, and I even tried to get back to that as well, because I felt at some point even I was editing my Fresh Face Fridays pictures, and I was like, homegirl, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just, you know, like, oh, I have a feed, so I want to match the colors, or like I want to put like something funny or like whatever. Then you obviously can tell this was more of like, okay, let me fix this, or let me take out this like pimple or this kind of stuff. So at one point it was therapeutic for me as well to just be able to catch that. It's almost like an alert of like, hey, this is where your self-esteem is going.
Right. Yeah.
Try to bring it back. So, and then with Stargazer Saturday, it was like, it was an older me, an older point of view in the sense of like there were heavier things that I wanted to talk about, and I felt like not a lot of people were understanding who I was, or didn't really have a good idea, or maybe just didn't understand who I was in general, what my personality is like, or what I actually like to talk about. So it was like, well, it's more than just this, or it's more than just that, or that's not really, you're just, fans maybe in a way were describing me in a way where I was like, I think that's a little bit too nice to say of me, or like something like that, where I wanted to be completely real with people. And it's my Instagram specifically, I wanted to make it mine. Right. And I think it was mainly during a time where I was holding a lot back, and I wasn't in a place where I wanted to be, you know, I felt like I was in a place where I was really stuck and I wasn't moving towards what I wanted to. And I wasn't around a lot of people that, you know, if I told them that, oh, somebody's going to get insulted or blah, 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 they might take it the wrong way because I'm actually
You're going to offend someone.
Yeah, because I'll be like, because I'm very grateful for maybe, you know, the job I had at the moment and blah, 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 but it wasn't what was making me happy.
Yeah.
And certain people, you know, just weren't the friends or like just weren't the castmates or whatever that you vibe with, etc. So it was like, that was my way out. That was my outlet. That was like, this is what I'm thinking right now, whether it is, you know, about society or like, I don't know, global warming or like insecurities or whatever it is. It was an escape, and it was to introduce people to me kind of without the Nickelodeon label and the contract saying that I have to, you know, be PG on Instagram. So.
Now she's 19, all right? But I think what's interesting about you is that you're just old enough, like of Gen Z, I want to say, where you knew life a little bit before social media, and we got to know you as a character, as an actress, and then people are slowly figuring out who you are. Where a lot of social media influencers come in and they're selling a version of themselves, right? A persona of themselves, and then trying to book the acting things. It's kind of like the reverse order. So I'm curious with you, is that, what do you think at this point your online persona is outside of your character? Or do you think it's actually attached? And then what misconception do you think people actually have about you?
I think a lot of nowadays it's almost like I keep hearing the name influencer. No one's really calling me an actress. It's like, oh, you're an influencer, right? Or something like that. Like, which I completely understand. Not everybody watches Nickelodeon, especially if you're around like our age, older, stuff like that. So it's just like, you know, I totally understand. But then at one point, influencer, I was like, that's not what describes me at all, because it does have a negative connotation.
There's a connotation about it.
And the thing is, I've actually gotten, and I was at a point where, I'll be completely honest, I was completely against any sort of influencer, not bloggers or anything like that. It was almost in a different category, where like all the YouTubers, all the ones that make comedy skits, to me, at one point I was like, they have no talent. They have horrible personalities. I would hate to meet them in person. I don't respect them at all. And I was just like, I don't think this is and they're getting so much recognition for some of them in real life aren't great people. And they're not doing it because they care about anybody supporting them, but because it's an alternative motive, ulterior motive. You know what I'm trying to say. My Spanish mixes with my English, and then I'm just like, what is the word? But they're
rewarded for it. I mean, a lot of which ways, right? It's very clickbaity, blah, blah, blah. And then at the point.
And a lot of the times and
that works for them, that's great. But you're saying you don't want to be grouped exactly in the same category because you're an actress first.
Yeah, and I think it was nice that I got to meet some of these, some influencers, you know, whether it's vloggers or YouTubers in general, stuff like that, or they were on Musical.ly or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And to see their perspective, to see things through their eyes and how it affects them and why they do what they do and what their struggles are. And that was more of like, hey, stop judging. You know what I mean? And it was, because it's sad sometimes. I see a lot of that, and they're basically seeing what the audience likes and trying to be that. It's not even just like, oh, I want to be this or whatever. It's more of like, oh, people like it when I wear this. People like it when they do that. People are really into this right now. And it's like, people really like pretty much say what your life is, what you do, what you say, what who you are. That's gonna be, you just constantly have to see what people want. And that is horrible to me, because I saw it every day with someone that I know, and I got to see how that affected this person. I was like, it's so sad. It's like you, and at one point you're so lost, you don't even know who you are, because it's like you never got the chance before this newfound random fame, because you, like, this person that I knew was just playing around with Musical.ly or like something, and then it just happened. And it's something that now you're just like, well, I'm so used to being this personality or being whatever it is that people see me on TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, and then now you never got time, especially as a teen, to find out who you are and how to differentiate.
These are like developing years in your life, so to be...
It's sad when the developing years in your life is that.
Like Play-Doh, like, oh, they like me this way, so I'm going to do it this way. You know, you can't be so moldable and then find out who you are, then you will have an identity crisis at some point.
That's why YouTubers stop. That everyone takes a break and tries to figure out who they are. And I feel like actresses and dancers, even anyone like in that field, kind of just keeps going because they don't have all that pressure 24/7.
I think the main thing I found out too, it's like a lot of people that do the whole, you know, social media thing to pay the rent or because they want to be famous or because they're doing that first and then trying to get into something else. When it's and a lot of the times it's people who don't know who they are or don't know what they want exactly.
Yeah.
But they want the clout of whatever it is that they'll end up doing. So it's just like when you start something that big that you have to put so much effort into and you have to deal with so much society and so much stuff, then it's never going to be pleasant.
Yeah.
So, and at one point you're going to want to stop, and then you feel like it's like, oh, I have to take a social media cleanse.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think of it, and then my friends think of it. We've never had to do a social media cleanse
Yeah.
because social media cleanse is not our job. I mean, social media itself,
Right,
it's not our
right.
job. So we don't have to cleanse from it because we just post whatever we want.
I'm gonna start
Yeah.
selling a social media cleanse.
I know.
Yes.
Other cleanses for tea. I'm gonna sell my
A
own social
7-week,
media
yeah.
cleanse.
It's like a juice that has like an iPhone
exactly.
painted on it. That's crazy.
Just distractions.
Just distractions. But
Okay, and I think it's really important that you're talking about this, and a lot of people are as well. It's interesting to hear your perspective, but I have to ask you, have you ever fallen victim, though, to this kind of situation that you're talking about? Like, again, like you said, I don't need to over-edit my photos, I don't need to do this, but you have caught yourself doing it because it is easy to fall victim to,
Sure.
And it's
right?
instant gratification. You
Oh,
get
yeah.
a like and you're like, whoa, I want to repeat that again.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think sometimes at one point it was like, especially when I was like towards ending my second show, and then now it was more of like, okay, well now you're doing a transition. You're going to move on to a different image. You're going to be doing different types of jobs or blah, blah, blah. It's you're not a kid actor anymore. So let's do, and then while I was not on a show, there was so much pressure to keep posting and keep your image up and like stay relevant. And all
Stay
this
relevant, that's the big
stay
thing.
relevant. And
Yeah.
at one point I just decided, I was like, why does this bother me so much? It's because I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care to be relevant.
Right.
You could completely forget about me and then be a fan of me again when I do something else. I don't
Right.
care. Because
Yeah.
the main thing is that I do what I do because I love it. And I do what I do because I'm very specific in what I want, which is acting. It's just being on a set. It's doing a character that I'm passionate about or a script that I'm passionate about that I think people are going to love or relate to or feel a connection to. And so that's why there's no like, grasp at the
Yeah.
followers and the this and whatever, because back in the day, even when I started and I was like 8 or something or like 10, it was like I was doing it because I loved it, not
It was
because
fun.
I had an
It was
Instagram. I didn't
literally
even have a
fun.
phone. So
Yeah.
it's like, why all of a sudden now that is, to me it's just like, if I have people supporting me on social media and all these things and all the good stuff that now social media brings, if that comes with the job,
Great.
open arms, you know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
doesn't, I can't, at one point I had to realize I can't make this everything.
Yeah.
My selfies don't matter. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, at
No one
one point
cares
it's-
as much as you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
and
true.
when I start to think of like, I started to think like, well, if I want to do like things in the fashion industry, what do they like? Well, let's say I went to like this big event and I'm stressing over because I really want to dress well because I love fashion. I'm passionate about it. So
Yeah.
I want to dress this and I work with my stylist to do that. And then I walk in and I see people with like $800 rags with
Yeah.
like
Right.
Jesus sandals
Uh-huh.
and a mullet. So at
Yeah.
one point it's like, or I remember at this event specifically, like the photographer came up to us to take a picture and we were just taking a regular picture and he says, can you do like look weirder or more interesting or blah, blah, blah. And at one point I was just like, look, if I want to be in this section of the world,
Yeah.
it's like I have to be that and that doesn't work with me. Or if I want to catch the attention this way, then I have to do what influencers do and I have to like, I don't know, do some sort of e-boy crap and I'm not gonna do that. So it's
That
just
was
like,
so funny. Wait, please do
Yeah.
that again. What did you just do?
I
so I don't even know what that is.
of
It's
like really
the-
attractive apparent, like which I won't get. I'll give them the benefit. They're
What is it?
attractive,
Wait,
but
what is
No,
it,
I
though?
know.
Like, no, oh, wait.
I can't do it. And,
no,
like,
it's like
they tell,
it's the TikTok, and they do a bunch of
Oh,
faces and the smolder, and they do like I'm like, what? Why?
Oh,
Why?
my God.
It doesn't even look good on someone that's like really, really good looking. Apparently, society good looking, but
Well, it's a slippery slope. You start doing the whatever that all is,
whatever.
and then it ends up in that. All right, so
I feel like I would just
Yeah.
look so dumb doing that.
I
or
don't
like,
even know how to do that.
I
It makes me
can't-
feel uncomfortable.
good.
Yeah, I
You ever
really.
start doing that?
Yeah.
I really can't hop onto modern trends that the ones
Yeah.
that don't go with your vibe.
Yeah.
Right, no,
So
for sure.
at one point I was just like, look, I'm gonna post whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
The feed will look whatever I want, and I'm gonna stop editing things too much,
Right.
not just for other people and to show whatever, but more so for myself because it does take a toll on you.
Uh-huh.
And I just wanted it to be, I wanted to feel like it wasn't a job anymore. Because when I started, I remember loving posting and putting, I don't know, sparkles and glitter, like editing that, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know, putting a rainbow in it, or taking a picture of my Starbucks. I don't care. It was,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
really fun.
Fun.
It was like my photo gallery and like sharing my day. It was really
Yeah.
just lighthearted and fun. And I think that was the purpose. Because like social media is not bad or good. It's just
Right.
a tool. So you make it whatever you want it to be. So it's nice to kind of fall back into a good mindset so that I don't have to end up being like, I need a social media cleanse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all,
Well, I have a code for my social media cleanse coming soon. I can
you have
send
a
that to
discount
you.
code.
Yeah, I got you, girl.
Calm down. We don't need any of that here.
Okay, wait, but the second part of that, I want to ask you, again, because there is a persona that all of us should kind of show to the world. So what do you think, one, that your persona is, and then two, any misconception you think that people may have about you?
I think probably people think a lot of things. I'm actually not quite sure, even at one point, what my image really is. Because I just post kind of what I think is very me, or like, you know, color schemes and stuff that I really like, or anything that I really like that I feel like is very me. And I naturally, you know, took the picture there, or I wore that, or blah, blah, blah. So it's very me, but I guess it really depends on the person looking at it and what they think. I'm sure there are a lot of people that probably think I'm very stuck up and like horrible human being or whatever, and there's probably some people that think I'm probably as cutesy and nice as Savannah, and I was like, I think we're going like too far because nobody can be Savannah. I'm telling you, I love this girl. And then for me, I think that's why I think too I started doing Stargazer Saturdays, so people can really, without meeting me in person, can get the closest thing to what I like to talk about, how I talk, and you know, how I express myself, and this is kind of like what it is, you know? Yeah.
You did say in one of your posts, and this was on earlier this month, I'll admit I'm working on being more open, actually showing how much I care about others. So clearly, and I think that does go with your image, kind of confident, like, I don't care what you think, I don't, you know, about me and vice versa, but you're kind of telling us here that's not the case.
Yeah. It was in a sense of like, I think a lot of the times, as I grew up, I remember, you know, when I was younger, like being so like out there and talking to everybody and being super like blah 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 blah, and I had so many like, you know, friends and like all this bunch of stuff where like I felt like I was constantly going and seeing people and doing this and that. And then as I grew older, I felt like it wasn't like I'm antisocial, but just became a little more quiet, or like there is now a handful of people that I prefer to be around, or like for example, like, I don't even need, if I had, like, my notifications on, you wouldn't hear a thing, because, like, nobody texts me during the day. So it's like, at one point I was like, dang, like, have I really, like, lost touch with my friends, or have I been too closed off, or have I done that with my family? Because I feel like maybe sometimes I'll have that kind of attitude where it's more, like, closed off with my family. And it was at one point where I was, like, you know, also got out of Nickelodeon, and I was also trying to figure out who I am now as a young adult, or, you know, now not just where do I want to go career-wise, but personality-wise. Now I'm in a different place. I am not around the same people anymore. I'm not hearing the same things. I'm meeting new people, going to different places. So it's like defining who I am, you know, now in this world, and how I mature into that. So it was like I wanted to be that again, where I felt like I was just naturally more open about certain things, that I don't, you know, just so I don't put too much pressure on myself, because a lot of times I feel like I want to solve everything by myself just to like prove that I can, or to.
I suffer from that too, and I don't know what it's called, but it's real.
Yes.
Totally a real thing, right?
Yes.
Because it seems like asking for help sometimes is like a vulnerable situation to be in, but also it's like, get over it, you can't do everything.
Yeah. A lot of the times I think because my personality is I want to maintain the edgy, cool, confident girl type of thing, then it's like, oh, if I do anything other than that, it's like weakness, or people take advantage of it, or people think you're this or that. And I've always been very private about a lot of things, so it's like, it's just finding the balance of the things I can share that is healthy for me to share, and the things I can keep to myself. So.
Right. No, I mean, we love that. I think I've loved watching you grow. Like, you do have something so consistent about you, and I love it. And maybe it is this confidence, and just maybe it's just confidence in who you are at that time, and not thinking too far in the back.
Yeah, because I think
present,
that's the other thing, like, of like almost like my age or younger, or like, especially like when I see all the young like influencers or whatever, like that they're acting a little too grown, and it's not just like, you know, where's your mom? I was like, we make that joke all the time, but obviously the mom is there supporting, so the mom is not gonna do anything.
Mom's taking the video and posting the photo. Actually,
mom is the number one fan.
Mom and dad are probably number one fans, but other than that, with all these kids watching them, it's like they are skipping their time, they're skipping their age, they're not doing the things that a normal 14 or
14.
15 or even 17-year-old would do, because there are things specific to each age that just happen in that age, and you're just in the mentality of that age no matter what you're going through. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot
You have
of
the rest of your
times-
life to get older. Just telling you, you can only go one way.
So it's the worst thing to like, you know, get to your maybe mid or late 20s or 30s or however old, and you're just like, I wish I could go back. Or I
And
wish
it's called a
when I was
midlife
younger I could do
crisis
that.
or a quarter life crisis, and it just like
because like now we're
enjoy
getting into the
yourself.
quarter life crisis, and which is like we can't be doing this.
Yeah, no crisis.
So it's just like that's why in consistency is like I like to live out every age as it should be. You know what I mean? I don't like to
I
get
get
ahead of
that from
myself.
you.
And even if you are more in the mature side or whatever, you can still live like that 15-year-old age, that 17-year-old age, that
Totally.
you know,
You're
there are
just true
certain
to who
things
you
that-
are, not to everyone else wants you to be.
Yeah.
Which, hats off to you and your mom, because we're shouting out moms out there. Okay, since we have fashion forward, fashionista,
Fashion icon.
not a fashion influencer. Just kidding. She totally influences. I wish the fashion which I could be wearing. But since we're with LILIMAR, we want to play a game called Fashion. Wait, I already screwed it up.
No.
Okay, 1 second. The title is, are we gonna shun it or is it fashion? Shun or fashion?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Don't people say like da da da,
I
but make it
actually-
fashion?
I think it makes sense.
Fashion.
Yeah, it's just the way they say it now.
Okay, so the first one is animal print.
Depends.
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say fashion.
Fashion.
Depends how you wear it though.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, don't do a head to toe thing.
Okay.
Don't do like a Fashion Nova kind of head to toe. Yeah, don't be doing that. But if you have like a nice little like at the top or
Yeah.
a skirt or maybe some like boots or something, then yeah.
It's like it adds a pop to your outfit,
Yeah,
but it
as
can't
long
be
as
your
it's
outfit.
not real,
One
I like
item,
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. Okay, satin dresses.
Wow. I'm just so unfashionable.
I think I will admit no.
Really?
Shun. Except the ones that have like that's like
The
string
slit.
that you pull it up.
Oh.
Or it could either be long or short. I really dig that right now. But other than that, I remember specifically, I think it was 2016, I will never forget this, where the style was silk dress with either oversized large
Coats?
bomber jacket or jean jacket over the shoulder, thigh highs, diamond choker.
Yes.
That whole thing, I'm so tired of it. I don't want to see it ever
I
again.
feel like I have so many questions with it. Like, what undergarments are you supposed to wear with that? Like, you better hope you don't really have to wear any. And then if there's any
Yeah.
sort of sleeve situation, like, you better hope you have Botox in those armpits. Because then, so you don't sweat, by the way. People with sweating problems.
The things you think of, I would never think about.
People actually get Botox in their armpits.
I didn't
PSA
even-
alert if
I
you have an
didn't
excessive
even know
sweating problem,
that.
which I don't, but I've considered it.
You get Botox so you
In
don't
your
sweat?
armpits. Yeah. I like
That's
purposely would not
crazy.
buy a
For, like,
satin
hand
shirt.
sweating. I have hand sweat. This is embarrassing.
No, like
The
clammy
Botox in your
hands.
hand.
Yeah,
That's
I'm like,
a
does
thing.
that work?
I don't
That's
know.
crazy. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a thing.
Wow.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
do not like silk. That
Okay.
was the question.
I like silk. I don't know about silk dresses. It depends. I think you have to give me some time to recover from 2016.
Okay, what about a power shoulder? So like puffy sleeve shoulder.
Ooh, it really depends.
I've never hated a shoulder pad, so I'm gonna go ahead and just say I think it makes
I-
you look like. I mean, there's an extent, but like
Yeah.
I feel like my grandma still wears them, and it always just looks like kind of grandma style. I
Yeah.
like it. If we're bringing back the dad sneaks, we can bring the grandma shoulder out.
Fashion.
Here we are. Okay, great. So
We tried.
We really did try. We have to hit one more thing since your publicist isn't doing that yet.
She's like, I'm chill.
You are one into the universe,
Yes.
and you're launching your own brand
Yes.
called Half Human, Half Universe.
Yay.
So you got to kind of tell us.
What
You
is
got to
it?
tell us more about it.
So we're kind of making kind of merch / like street style kind of wear where hopefully people will like it. And it definitely has the message of like anything, you know, supernatural and universe and like little witchy vibes here and
like
there.
it.
So anything that's very like stuff that we're passionate about, we'll
Is it
be
in
more open about it later. That'll definitely come out, and it's definitely a mix of like our first one. It's kind of, we call it an international launch where like we have she is Chinese and then I am Latina, so then we're gonna have like our languages put on there saying half human, half human. Like we have a lot of stuff
cool.
coming. So yeah, so it's kind of cool that we're all
awesome.
and our different friends that are from different places. We're all coming together, and like the whole thing is very friend based and done by us, and you know everything's for you by us. So it's like, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's really nice having control over everything and working with people that really like, we're all with the same vibe and we like to hear each other's ideas and everything. So yeah.
And it's cool with the universe too, because the one thing about the universe, we all know, like, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't really care who you are. Like, you're bringing all these things together.
Exactly. So I feel like anyone, that's what we thought of, is like, this can really be for anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just,
It's universal.
It's universal. That out there.
Is there anything coming up soon that fans can expect to see?
Yes. Now that you mention it. I recently did a movie that is made by Adam Sandler, and he stars in it, which I'm very excited about.
Yes.
And I have no problem bragging about.
You should brag about it.
No, but he's a wonderful human being. He's like a gorgeous person. I love him. He's just like one of those people where, like, it's one of those people where you've looked up to them for a long time, or you always like thought of them like, oh my God, what a legend. And then you get to meet them and they're so nice and so cool, and he talks to everybody and he doesn't know his lines and he just improvises and it's genius and I love it.
Yes.
And but yeah, it's definitely a fun group of us because they put together a lot of Disney and Nick kids in one room, so that was very funny. A lot of people were like, "Oh my God, how awkward!" It actually wasn't, but it was very, very fun, and I think you'll see a lot of familiar faces, and that will be coming out for Halloween. It's going to be Halloween, so I'm excited for that to come out during spooky season, whether it's this spooky season or the next.
All right.
Spooky season, I'm going to say, is spooky seasonal. I think it's something that continues through every witch season.
I think it's a lifestyle.
I agree.
Because
which I'm living.
Which I am living. Which this witch is
living. Okay.
But,
Awesome.
So we don't know if it's going to be, it might be a year. We don't really know when that's coming out, but it will be coming out.
But it will be coming out, and that's really exciting. And I hope everyone will be able to like it and support it.
Yeah,
so I'm
of
excited for
course.
that.
Oh, for sure. I know people are just like waiting to like get more of you. I'm not even going to edit this podcast, so y'all can just hear the whole thing. All right? How about that? But okay, where can everyone follow you to keep up with all of your endeavors?
Yeah, I have Instagrams and I have the Twitters, and they're both I am LILIMAR, which is LILIMAR. And that's mainly where I'm going to revive Tumblr.
Throwback.
Yes, because I just feel like, TikTok and like all Lively, whatever, that stuff's cute, but like,
Oh my God, if you're just listening to this, go check the YouTube. She just did the head. Like something's crawling up your face.
Yeah. I don't know why they do it. I could have a whole conversation about that whole trend. I don't even know why it started. But anyway, I think the whole stuff is cute, but Tumblr's where it's at.
Yeah.
You can't even lie. That's where the real art and inspiration is at.
Well, we're bringing everything back, right? We said trends are coming back.
So listen to that. We're bringing everything back. I want MySpace.
Yeah,
Oh my
same.
gosh.
I want it back.
I'll put you on my top 8.
My top 8 stars.
Oh my God.
I know. Everything comes back. So really, we're so behind the curve that we're ahead of it. That's how it works now.
Exactly.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast.
Give us a 5-star rating.
Yeah, nothing less. All right.
Right.
Just
and
5
nice.
or nothing. All right. No. I'll take 4 too. Beggars can't be choosers.
You don't give a take.
All right, 5-star, and then make sure and leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Keep it nice. Keep it 5-star.
Keep it
right?
decent.
Yeah, no haters.
All right,
Thank you so
bye.
much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much.
Catch you guys all next week.
Hopefully.
Bye.
Bye.